Hello, my name is Brian Glenfeld, and I'm currently undecided in my major. This is my Global Citizens Activity Part 2 project on the Heart Part 5 music video by Kendrick Lamar, released on May 8th, 2022. Basically, the music video is about Kendrick's commentary on the inner city, impoverished black neighborhoods, and he talks about these struggles and injustices these communities face across the country, where Black Americans are exposed to violence and socioeconomic problems. And he argues that these problems, while glorified by some, should not be normalized for the well being of the people living in these environments. The United Nations Global Goal 16 from their website is, quote, promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Um, to connect to the music video, basically, Kendrick wants the same thing. He wants his community and the ones across the country to be safer, to be less violent, to have more justice. He wants kids to grow up in a safe environment where they are not thrown into that violent cycle and experience the horrors of the world. My first term I chose was the fundamental attribution error. My definition is when you attribute the actions of someone to their character and don't take into consideration their environment and other influences. That's from page 673 of the textbook. The example they gave was, if someone gives a poor presentation in class, you could commit a fundamental attribution error by assuming that that person is a poor speaker, or they were lazy, they didn't prepare enough for the project. But that's just a surface level statement. It could be something, maybe they didn't have a good night's sleep last night. Maybe there's something going on at home. They have other things on their mind. You're not aware of the full story. So you're not making an informed judgment of that person. How this relates at the 2 minute 26-second mark, Kendrick says, but that's the culture. Crack a bottle. Hard to deal with the pain when you're sober. By tomorrow, we forget the remains. We start over. That's the problem. Basically, what he's saying is when you experience violence, when you experience pain in your environment, you may turn to substances like alcohol or drugs to kind of ease the pain because it's hard to deal with. And, the next day, you forget the remains and you start over. And that's what she's trying to fix. But if you're looking at that from an outside perspective, you're not getting the whole story. You don't understand the environment that these people are living in. So you might commit a fundamental attribution error. My second term was stereotypes. The definition I have is traits or attributes about a certain group of people that is given to all of the individuals in that group. That's from page 67. The example they gave in the textbook was, there's a stereotype that all Asian people are good students, and it misrepresents Asian people as a whole, because while there are many smart Asian students, not all Asian students are automatically going to be good students. You're taking a generalization about a group, and you're saying all the people in that group it applies to, and that's just inaccurate. The lyric that I pulled from the song was, I wasn't perfect, the skin I was in had truly suffered. Temptation, impatience, everything that the body nurtures. I felt the good, I felt the bad, I felt the worry, but all in all, my productivity has stayed urgent. That is from the 3 minute 43-second mark. Kendrick Lamar, being a black person in America, has obviously experienced discrimination and several negative stereotypes associated with him and his race. And he's talking about how he has struggled through that. But he is, but all in all, my productivity has stayed urgent. So he is fighting the stereotypes and he is trying to break through them. My third term is the self-fulfilling prophecy. The definition I got was an expectation about something that causes you to act in ways that reinforce the expectation and cause it to come true. The example from the textbook is someone tells you that your new coworker is super shy, so you don't interact with her throughout the day, and you avoid talking to her because you don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. And you see her eating alone for lunch, and you come to the conclusion, oh, well, she is shy, when in fact your actions led you to that conclusion, and it's not true to her actual personality from page 77. So you have a notion that she's shy, so you do things to reinforce your own belief that she's shy, and then you look at all those things and you're like, oh, yeah, she is shy. But in reality, if you had invited her to eat with you lunch, you might come to the conclusion that she isn't actually shy. So the lyric that I got was hair trigger, walk up closer, ain't no photoshopping, friends bipolar, grab you by the pockets, no option if you froze up, always play the offense from the 1 minute 53-second mark. Basically, what Kendrick is trying to say is that in this environment where violence is prevalent, you have to be on a hair trigger. You have to always be on the offense. And what that causes is if you feel threatened, you may be more prone to violence. And you self fulfill your prophecy because you're just contributing to the violence because you expect violence to be on you. So you're always on edge. You're always prone to violence because you can't be defensive. You know, it's kind of hard to explain, but that's my interpretation of that. Closing conclusion. I learned that there are many misconceptions you could have about a group of people, and it's important to look deeper at the causes behind them and not make rushed or inaccurate judgments about people. And it's necessary to look at the environment and the beliefs of a culture to truly understand the culture in it itself. If I had to create a message to support Global Goal 16, I would choose the civil dialogue, which is basically um, speaking, communicating a message by being honest, by using the right language, avoiding commonly used phrases and talking points, and being mindful of others' opinions, listening to other people's opinions, and being open to change your opinion if needed. And I think that's good for a lot of subjects, especially controversial ones where people may have a strong emotional attachment to it. And I think civil dialogue is the best way to communicate that message. Thank you so much for listening. Brian Gutfeld, signing off.